you very much, Luis and Jorge Luis, for the introduction. And to attendees, I'm very happy that you are with us today to talk a little bit about how can you protect your social media accounts. If you have any questions, you can use the built-in Q&A feature on Zoom. There is a button on the lower part of your Zoom screen, which is Q&A. You can hit that button and you can post any questions you have through the presentation. All right, so I will share my screen right now so we can start. Let's see. Okay, there you go. As an icebreaker, I will launch a poll on Zoom. You will see a window popping up on your screen. And the question is, have you reviewed your Facebook privacy and security settings in the last 12 months? So go ahead and answer so we can have an idea of your security and privacy habits. All right, so answers are coming up. So far we have 13 answers. Okay, 16% of participants. Okay, I would like to get some more answers, please. Okay, looks like, okay, this is looking so far, okay. 57% of you, well, actually 60% now have reviewed privacy and security settings in the last 12 months. There's a 40% of participants who actually haven't checked that recently. Okay, maybe we can wait for 2 or 3 more answers here. Okay, things are looking better now. That's great. Right, looking even better now. 65% have responded yes. Okay, I think I will close the poll so you can view the results. Okay, I'm sharing the results right now. So now you can see the statistics of this question. 65% of participants have actually reviewed privacy and security settings, and 35% have still some work to do. All right, great. That's nice to know. Thank you for participating. All right, so let's start here. We will discuss mainly 3 topics on this call. Of course, we will leave some minutes to answer questions you might have. The first topic we will see are basically privacy and security settings. Facebook has a built-in privacy checkup tool, which I find very useful. That was launched in 2017, if I'm not mistaken, and has been revamped, I think in 2020 or 2021. The second topic that we will abord is the adequate balance of personal and professional data on social media. Okay, and the third topic, which is actually my favorite, you will love it, it's preventing hacking of social media accounts. So stay tuned because actually you will love that part. All right, so let's start with the first topic, which is privacy settings. As you know, privacy settings play an important role to limit the exposure of our private life to outsiders, including those who use social media to try to intimidate the press. So we have seen examples across many communities we support, where attackers on social media trolls or bots or state level actors, or maybe even organized crime actors, use aspects of our private life against us. So we will discuss today the measures you can take to stop that, or at least limit just any damage. All right. So Facebook has this privacy checkup tool. If you are on your computer, you can click on the top right-hand side of your screen. There's a little arrow. You click it. Then you go to privacy and settings, and then there you have the option of the privacy checkup tool. Or you can also enter facebook.com/privacy. On the Facebook mobile app, it's pretty much the same. There is the options button on the top right-hand corner. You click it, you click on security and privacy, and then you have that option under settings, which is called privacy checkup. You click it, and then you have like a guide through of the most relevant settings as far as privacy and security is concerned. You have, for example, the first section, which is who can see what you share. So here you can limit who can have access to your profile information, to your posts and your stories. You can also see the people that you wish to block. You can also see actually select who can have access to your phone number, to your email, to your birthday, to your home time, to your relationship status, even to your address, current city, and your friends and your friends that you were following. This is important because that will actually give intelligence about yourself. Like the more information you expose to others, it can be used against you. I don't know, maybe to try to guess your password, or that information can be used in harassment campaigns. So what we want to do is actually limit who has access to those parts of your profile. Then you have another section which is called how to keep your account secure. This is basically a password checkup. Here you can see password tips. You can actually change your password, and you can also see when was the last time that you changed your password, and you can also set up login alerts. This is to let you know if your account was accessed on a different device or in a different location. So in case someone has your password, you will actually have the ability to be notified and maybe to have that session just locked off. So that is actually pretty important for you guys to set up login alerts. It's actually very useful. Another section here is how people can find you on Facebook. This is who and how can send you friend requests, and how you are showing on search engines. If you are willing to share your profile info on search engines, you can actually control that part. And of course, you can also see you can have the list of pending friend requests right there. And there you have some other sections here, which are mainly focused on your data settings on Facebook, which apps and websites have access to your profile. Here you can control pretty much which applications are using your Facebook account information for advertisement okay. And you can also, of course, manage people that you want to block from your profile. The next topic that we will discuss is by the way, if you have any questions so far, please feel free to use the Q&A option on Zoom. We can go over your questions through the presentation or at the end. Okay, so make sure you post your questions on the tool. Now, the second topic that we will discuss right now is the adequate balance of personal and professional data on social media. This is relevant because, everyone nowadays owns a multitude of social media accounts. And we are actually used to maybe have some work-related data on our social media profiles, even though it's not it's not that, I mean, it's not that a good practice to use Facebook for some parts of your work duties, but still, I mean, we all do it sometimes. But you can still use social media for both personal and professional matters if you follow basic privacy and security considerations. We will discuss which privacy and considerations to follow. First, in IT security, there's a term we like to use that is called data segregation, which is basically restricting who has access to what on a system. This is basically like permissions, and we can control who will have access to certain parts of our social media account. Say videos, photos, or text posts, or videos, or some other documents we share. If we start sharing sensitive information, and if we skip security and privacy measures, that can just backfire, and hostile actors seeking to damage our reputation can use exactly that against us. So we have to protect like the two spheres in our lives, the private sphere and the professional sphere. So we limit like the attack surface, okay? And we have some built-in tools in Facebook to reach this data segregation. We have, of course, friends lists, we have groups, and we have pages. Each of these features will actually serve a different purpose. For instance, by default, Facebook has three default friend lists. So you can use them to restrict who has access to your publications. You can actually add your close friends to this default list. So if you want to share something that is very intimate, you can just pick a small hand of your contacts. Maybe you can share stuff about your pets, your family, your kids, or your vacations, etc. Of course, you don't want to share your vacations with everyone, or data about your family members. You should keep that to just a close set of friends. Like, this is the same way you are not telling about your personal aspects of your lives to everyone on the street or at work. This is kind of the same. You use this friend list to actually limit who has access to that part of your profile. You can also use the built-in default list, which is acquaintances. So this is people you know, but that are not really that close to you as a long-time friend. And then you have a list of restricted people, which are still contacts. Maybe you do care about that set of contacts, but you don't want to share that much information with them for any reason. Of course, you can create your own custom lists. Maybe you can create a coworkers list if you want to share something about your job or your professional endeavors. You can actually just limit the audience to your contacts that are on work-related contacts, or you can also create a separate list for family members, maybe, or maybe you can use another list to gather your friends from college. So you can use your imagination here. What matters is that you can pick an audience, a default audience for for certain publications. When you create content on Facebook, the default audience, it's just friends. So that covers your entire contact list. But you can also tell Facebook to select the different friend list as default. So if you are just using, for instance, Facebook mainly for personal matters, you can actually choose close friends as a default audience. That way, you cannot restrict or exclude acquaintances and restricted people in the restricted list for that publication or content you share. And just the other way around, if you are using Facebook more for professional post and activity, you can actually create your own list, add people there, and just that as your default audience. That I like that. That's pretty cool. The other feature you can use is groups. I like this very much. I actually use it on my own personal hobbies, because you can create groups with friends, or if you share common interests or hobbies, you can use groups just to limit that aspect of your life to a specific set of friends that are added to that group. They don't need to be your friends necessarily, because you can add other people's administrators, and they can add more people, so you can actually like grow your I mean, you should network. You can like get to know people this way in groups also. So this way, if you are really interested in certain topic, you can just interact with that specific audience. You can share their albums, file, posts. You can also make video calls. So that way you can keep even a smaller set of your personal life just in groups. So you don't have to worry about which audience is actually having access to those publications. You can just go ahead and straight use the group feature on Facebook. And also, if you run a media outlet or a nonprofit organization, you can use Facebook page to interact with your audience. This is super useful because that way you are not exposing your personal Facebook profile to your audience, because that's actually like your own personal profile. Here you can create a Facebook page for your media outlet if you have any, or if you have a blog, maybe you can create a Facebook page. This way, everything you share is not going to be under your name, but under the Facebook page's name. And you can actually allow or not your name to be shown on the Facebook profile info. This way you can actually start sharing content and so on, and you can actually keep your personal identity to yourself. That way, I mean, you are kind of shielded from outsiders wanting to know who is behind certain media outlet. Of course, there are some media outlets that are covering corruption or organized crime activity, and of course, you're going to hide your identity. You don't want to risk yourself publishing all that data under your name. So you can use a Facebook page to do it. Of course, you have to have a strong password and account security. We will go over that in a few minutes. But you can use these these 3 items to limit the audience: a Facebook page, a Facebook group, or custom friends lists. Okay. So now we are getting into the third section here. I have a question here. Okay, I have a participant here asking what are the main criteria to mark up a blue tick in Facebook. As far as I understand, you have to have a certain number of followers, and you have to be a public figure. And not everyone that has a big audience and that is a public figure can qualify for the blue mark. As far as I know, you have to comply with certain criteria, and then you can request to have your account verified. And Facebook should have a review process, and they can verify your account. And actually, that's a very interesting topic. I'm sorry, yeah, a very interesting question, because I have seen some people cloning the identity of someone else to attack their reputation. For instance, I have seen fake profiles of high-profile journalists, and of course they are publishing false information, or fake news, as they call it nowadays. Or maybe there is we have like a fake website of a news outlet, and they are publishing, again, same story, wrong information to harm the reputation of the real profile. So I think if you feel you are subject to being harassed in that way, that's an argument in your favor to have Facebook validate your account so you can have that blue tick on Facebook. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. Again, if you guys have more questions, feel free to use the Q&A feature on Zoom, and I will gladly go over any questions you might have. Okay, so I'm marking the question as answered. Okay. Another participant raised his hand. If you could please post your question on the Q&A section, please. Okay. I think I can see your question on the group chat. Does any info about professional profiles rolling in? I think we can have Janie from Meta answer that question maybe at the end of the call. So let me just mark that question as pending. We can go over that question at the end of the call. Yes, thank you, Oliver. Yeah, I'm not that much into Facebook and Meta or rolling dates. That's why I prefer her to answer that question for you. Okay, so all right. So now we have this third topic about preventing hacking of social media accounts. I told you this is my favorite part of the call today. First, like the golden rule, do not reuse passwords. Again, do not reuse passwords whatsoever for any account. And I will show you some interesting data regarding why you shouldn't actually do this. This is a list of the most common ways people have their accounts compromised. So the first one, we have user signups for multiple services using a single password. Okay, that's reason number one, people get their accounts hacked. Second way, hackers successfully break servers of those companies. And third step in the sequence of events, hackers sell or publish collections of stolen data. And the fourth things that happens is others try to log into your account or social media profile or cloud backup with a single set of user credentials. So hackers are acting mainly looking for money, but of course we do have hackers that are state-sponsored, and I think those are the most dangerous hackers because they target a specific person. They can actually use information that is exposed to the public on your social media account, maybe to try to make you reveal the information using social engineering tactics, or they can use information about your habits or your daily activity to try to intimidate you. All right, so this is why it's super important to keep your profile private. So we will see actually how this looks like. Like these four bullet points right here are actually explain the sequence of events of how people get hacked. Okay, so first we have this real screenshot of an email database leak. Of course, I'm hiding the complete email address of the victims because we don't want to re-victimize people. But what I want you to check right here is that email addresses, when they are exposed in a data breach, obviously they are published on the open internet. So maybe if you Google someone's email address, you will have a chance, maybe a small chance, to get the person's password. So this is why I insist everyone not to reuse passwords, so we can stop people from using that same set of credentials to access different accounts. By the way, the Q&A feature on Zoom is just next to the chat button. The chat button has like a little glow, and on the right hand side of the chat button, there's another that says Q&A. You can pose your questions there. That way we have a better control of unanswered questions. All right. I mean, you can still use the chat, but we prefer you to use the Q&A feature to help us better give follow-up to any questions you might have. All right, so back to the presentation. This list contains, it's actually like 100 accounts from a database. Of course, I'm not really in which database this is, but this was a service provider that was hacked, and its users were exposed with email address and password. And here you can see people are using very simple passwords, and some of them are not even using numbers or capitals or any signs or symbols, just plain lowercase letters, and some add numbers at the end. And some others are using words that can be found in a dictionary. So just don't reuse passwords. Of course, then use a simple password as shown, because those will increase the risk of having your accounts compromised. So hackers sell collections of stolen credentials to other hackers. So you really have to be careful and separate which account you use for what purpose. Of course, you want to use your personal account for business matters, and the other way around. Just try to separate both worlds so you can isolate these two sides of your life. Okay. This is a website where you can check if your email address has been exposed in a data breach. In this screenshot right here, this account was exposed in 164 data breaches, and 69 pastes have been found for this user account. Again, what is data breach? It's a set of public information that was exposed on the open internet about a specific email address, and a paste means that the data was actually published online for everyone to see. This can happen on the open internet, the internet we all use, or on the deep web. Okay, and let's go over to the next slide. The URL for this website is at the bottom. So if you want, you can click it, or you can copy and paste it. I will actually share the URLs of every tool on the call. I will share them. I will drop them on the chat so you can check them. And this is a case study showing the extent to which personal information can be leaked and exposed on the internet. For instance, when Adobe was hacked, email addresses, passwords, hints, passwords, and usernames were exposed. But take a look, for instance, at the cannabis.com daily. Their dates of birth were leaked, as well as email addresses, geographic location, historical passwords, instant messenger identities, IP addresses, passwords, private messages, usernames, and website activity. A bunch of data was leaked from cannabis.com users. And here we have some other major providers: Canva, Dropbox, Last.fm, even LinkedIn. Even MySpace was a victim of a data breach attack. So the more information you hide from public view, the better, because you never know when a provider will be hacked and your information might be exposed on the open internet. And this is a screenshot of this company, which is called SecureAlf. This is a research they did among 2 persons in the US. And SecureAlf asked if they were actually sharing, if their if they were blurring the lines between work and personal passwords. So as you can see, 44% of the people admitted using their personal passwords at work. So this makes things worse, because if your personal password was exposed on the open internet, then in 40%, in 44% of the cases, that password will also work on work accounts. So for instance, 25% of those passwords were used in email, and then some other in social media accounts, bank accounts, and shopping sites. So almost half of the persons that responded to this survey admitted mixing the two worlds. So maybe, I mean, hopefully this is not the case for you, but I would like to share to you guys that people are actually mixing both worlds. And we can also rely on multi-factor authentication to separate and to protect our accounts. Again, if you have any questions, you can feel free to post them in the Q&A section. You can click on the Q&A button. And this is another part of the topic I would like to share with you. This is the multi-factor authentication. This means something you know, which is your password, plus something you have, which is one-time code. We will talk about this in a few minutes. And then something you are, like your fingerprint or your iris, you know, facial recognition. Most services will allow you to authenticate by just using a password, but that is actually not enough. As you can see, if your password was leaked or exposed in a data breach, attackers can use that password to try to gain access to other accounts you might own, maybe to your cloud backup or to your work profile, to your LinkedIn profile, to your, I don't know, your Twitter or your Instagram account. So if you add like multiple layers of security, you are increasing the protection, you know, like layers in an onion. Like the more layers you have, like the better. So we are talking about securing the core of our private lives, basically. So how can we accomplish having one-time codes? Well, we can use the following apps. Of course, there are a lot of one-time apps, but these are like the mainstream apps you can download. And we have the Google app. Here you can have like one-time access codes for, of course, your Gmail account, also for Facebook, for Twitter, for Instagram, for your PayPal account if you have any, maybe for eBay, for a multitude of you know, services. So if you want to have access to that account, you have to have your password plus the one-time code that will generally only last like 60 seconds. So you only have 6 seconds to type in the code on your phone. And then this way you can have access to your account. So here you have completed 2 items on this list, something you know that it's of course your password, something you have that is your one-time code. You have to install an application to be able to generate these codes. And the third option you can add up, it's just biometrics. Most phones have, if not facial recognition, you have the fingerprint sensor, and you can use that to add another layer of security. And these apps are right here. For instance, LastPass can also serve as a password manager and also Authy. So if you want to have like multiple passwords for each account, which is actually what you do, you can actually use LastPass or Authy to have the app remember and fill out an autocomplete passwords when needed. This can be done on your phone or on your computer, so you won't have to you won't have to remember every single password you have. You can use like these apps to remember and manage those passwords. Of course, you have to protect the app with a super strong master password that you should not forget. Of course, both LastPass and Navi use super strong encryption. So that encryption cannot be broken as long as you have a good password for it, okay? So we have reached the Q&A session. So please post any questions you might have. Use the Q&A feature. And before that, let me just share the list of the apps I told you about. I will drop the list on the chat. Maybe you can visit the links that I'm showing right now. If you have any questions about any of those apps, you can go ahead and post your questions now. The first link I'm sharing to you on the chat is the website you can use to check if your email address or phone is in a data breach, if it has been exposed in the past. The second link, you can use it to check if your password has been exposed in data breach as well. Of course, this website is run by the trusted party, so you can feel free to use it. Then I shared with you the Google Authenticator apps for both Android and iPhone, as well as the Microsoft Authenticator URL, LastPass, Audi, and the last item on the list is YubiKey, which is a hardware two-step product. This is a USB key you need to insert in your computer to be able to open any of your accounts. So okay, I do have a frequently asked questions slides. Let me share that with you in a minute. So I will stop sharing my screen right now, and I will open the other slide I told you about. Give me one sec. Okay. There you go. So here I have compiled some frequently asked questions I received from people. First is, how can I find the privacy checkup on Facebook? So here I have the instructions. The first paragraph will show you how to access the privacy checkup tool on your computer. The second paragraph will help you to look for the checkup on your mobile app, either on Android or on Apple iOS. This link right here will help you check if your password has been compromised. And this other link right here will check if your email address and other private data has been exposed in data leaks. I already shared these links on the chat, but I would like to add that if you find yourself in a database, in a breached database, in a leak, you can see if, what information was exposed on a data leak and if pastes are available or not. If you by any chance find yourself on one of these lists, change your passwords right away so you can reduce the exposure of your accounts. Then here we have password managers you can use to keep your passwords on an encrypted app. We have the most popular options are the first two. They have both paid and free plans. The other one, I like it very much. And this last app, it's open source, it's free, and it's available for Windows, Mac, and Linux. There's also a link to an app for Android phones. And I like it very much because it just auto-completes your passwords, and you can also check your password strength with this link right here. And so again, guys, if you have any questions, you can drop them on the Q&A box.